Hi, pre-algebra students. So today we're going to complete notes on section 7.4, approximating square roots. Before we do that, we're going to start off with our key idea, which is understanding the set of real numbers. So we'll start off with some vocabulary. Our first definition is of a rational number. And it says a rational number is any number that can be written as the ratio of two integers. Oops. To do that. Okay, and as you probably already know, this is just another way to say anything that can be written as a fraction. So we'll look at that when we move into our set. Our second definition is of irrational numbers. And an irrational number is something that cannot be written as the ratio of two integers. And then we've given you some examples down here. So things that are not perfect squares, anything that is not a perfect cube, and any decimal that neither terminates nor repeats. So let's take a look at some of the examples we have down here in our graphic organizer. So just like it says here, rational numbers is the set of all, real numbers is the set of all rational and irrational numbers. Our set of rational numbers contains things like integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. And you can see some examples of those. And then over here are our irrational numbers. Here's our example of a non-perfect square, the square root of 2. 2 is not a perfect square. The cubed root of 7 is an example of a non-perfect non-perfect cube. And then you have pi, which is our example of a decimal that neither terminates nor repeats. So even though we approximate it as 3.14, it does continue to go on and on forever and ever. So let's take a look at some examples down here. Get rid of that. So our first one is the square root of 12. I know if I've been studying my set of perfect squares and cubes, then you should know that 12 is not a perfect square. So therefore, this is an irrational number. And my reasoning is that it is a non-perfect root. Okay, I'm going to go across instead of down. So we'll look at example E, and you already saw pi up there in our graphic organizer, so we know that that is irrational. And again, because it's a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal. I'm just going to abbreviate some of this. Okay, letter B is the negative value of 25/100 repeating. 25/100 is a repeating decimal, and I know that because it has that bar notation above it. So therefore, this is a rational number because it repeats in a pattern. Okay, letter F. Look at that decimal. That big, long decimal just keeps going on and on and on, and it doesn't seem to really have a pattern, even though it contains ones and twos. It doesn't repeat in any kind of pattern. And I know that because those three little dots there just tell me that it just goes on and on and on. So therefore, this is an irrational number. Okay, and it's a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal. Okay. Let's look at letter C. Is the negative square root of 9. And again, if you've been studying your roots, you know that this one can be evaluated as -3. -3 can be written as a fraction. Therefore, this is a rational number because it is a perfect root. Okay, letter G is also a perfect square. 196 has a square root of 14. So if I evaluated this, I would get -14. So therefore, it is rational. And again, it's a perfect root. Okay, letter D, 72/4 is an improper fraction. It is already written in ratio form. Therefore, it is rational because it's already as a fraction. Letter H, the cubed root of 2. And again, if you've been studying your cubed roots, you know that 2 is not a perfect cube. So this is irrational. I'm just going to say it's not a perfect cube. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can pause the video and or bring those to class tomorrow and we'll address those. We're going to go ahead and move on to example 2, and this is our second part of our lesson today, which is approximating square roots. So the directions ask you to estimate the square root of 71 to the nearest integer and to the nearest tenth. Now, you probably realize that you could punch that into your calculator, but the idea is this is a non-calculator skill. So we want to know how, let's say I didn't have a calculator. How could I approximate the square root of 71 without a calculator? So instead of making a whole table of numbers of squares, what I will typically do is take the square root of 71, I'll put that in the middle, and then I'll ask myself what perfect squares fall on either side of that, either above or below. So using my knowledge of perfect square roots, I know that the square root of 64 is just below 71, and the square root of 81 is the one that falls directly above. So if I evaluate those, I know the square root of 64 is 8, and the square root of 81 is 9. So therefore, I know the square root of 71 falls between 8 and 9 on the number line. So let's look at, for question A, it wants to know to which integer is it closest. So what I'm going to do is just look at the distance. So I can see between 64 and 71, there are 7 units. Between 71 and 81, there are 10 units. So 7 is smaller than 10. Therefore, I know this integer is a little bit closer to the square root of 64, which is 8. Okay, example B is a little bit more challenging. This asks me to approximate it to the nearest tenth. So what I like to think about here is, again, my entire distance between these two numbers is 17 units. Half of that is about 9. 9 doubled is 18. So therefore, I can see that if halfway is 9, it's not exactly halfway. And halfway as a decimal would be 8.5. So I know it's not exactly halfway. So therefore, I'm going to approximate it. It looks like it's a little bit less than half. So I'm going to say it's about 8.4, and maybe it would be even 8.3, but 8.4 is a pretty good approximation there. So again, that's a tougher skill, and you can always just check that on your calculator to see how it works. So we're going to ask you to try that. You've got some on your owns here, and you're going to approximate those both to the nearest integer and to the nearest tenth. So you need 2 answers for both of those, and try to show your work to support that you did that without a calculator. And we're going to go ahead and move on to example 3. Okay, so this time it says, which is greater, the square root of 5 or 2 2/3? And again, I'm going to do this without a calculator. So I'm just thinking of, if I have the square root of 5, what perfect roots are on either side of that? So I know that the square root of 4 is just below that, and I know the square root of 9 is the one above that. And if I evaluate those roots, the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. So I know that the square root of 5 falls between 2 and 3 on the number line. And if I calculate my distance, it's only 1 unit away here. It's 4 units away here. So I can easily see that the square root of 5 is really close to the number 2 on the number line. In fact, it's just a little above that. So maybe like 2.1 or 2.2. Now, if you have a pretty good knowledge of fractions, if you evaluate 2 2/3 and convert that into a decimal so you can easily compare, 2/3 is a repeating decimal. It's 2.6 repeating. Therefore, I can clearly see that the square root of 5 is less than 2 2/3, or you could say 2 2/3 is greater than the square root of 5. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on, look at example 4 here, and this time we're going to do a little bit of real life application approximating the value of an expression. So it says the radius of a circle with an area A is approximately the square root of A over 3. And then it tells me that the area is 51 square inches. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to plug it into the formula in place of a. So if a is 51, plug that in over 3. Okay, and remember when you're evaluating a root, you either take the square root of the top or the square root of the bottom. In this case, you can just go ahead and divide evenly. So 51 divides evenly by 17 times 51 divided by 3. So I'm looking for the square root of 17. And again, use without a calculator, if I'm approximating that, square root of 17 falls between the square root of 16 and the square root of 25, which are my perfect roots. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 25 is 5. And I can see that the square root of 17 is just a little bit bigger than 4. So I'm going to say R is approximately 4.2. And let's see if I have a label. I do. It's inches. Okay. And actually just asked me for the nearest integer. So R equals 4 inches would be fine as well. So go ahead and finish up the on your owns, and we'll go over those in class tomorrow. And have a good rest of your night.